All right. Let's start the conversation with your analysis of the current administration's respect for the rule of law and for human rights, especially, I mean, if we go very recently to the NBA conference, the president, represented by the vice president, talked about upholding the rule of law, you know, within, I can't remember the exact words, but he talked about upholding the rule of law. So from your analysis so far, would you say that the current administration has been one that has indeed upheld the rule of law and has upheld fundamental human rights?
Well, it's not from my own point of view, and also it is not from.
Struggling with the connection there, but I think we would do what we can to fix that. Sonnie Ekwowusi, of course, joining us to discuss the human rights record and respect for democratic norms, by the current administration, mostly in relation to the criticism from Atiku Abubakar, the former vice president, towards the arrest of Joe Ajaero, the NLC president. If you remember, he was arrested and eventually released on Monday night, I believe. And since then, the criticism for his arrest has continued to pour in from different parts of the country, and of course, including human rights groups and the like. So
very true. Now, I was still joined by a human rights lawyer. Thank you very much for joining us. And I just want to quickly reiterate the question that I asked earlier. At the last NBA conference, President Bola Tinubu, through his vice president, said that he has vowed to keep promoting the rule of law, adhere to the principle of separation of powers, and tolerate dissenting views within the ambit of the laws of Nigeria. So far, in the past, since the current administration got into power, would you say that they have kept to these promises?
Obviously, they have not kept any promise. It's something that's seen by every Nigerian. People are worried that the Bola Tinubu administration has descended into an oppressive, because it has become an oppressive, intolerant government, arresting oppositions, and then clamping on journalists, and also taking dictatorial decisions. We also saw how, before we were debating the presidential jet, the president has already acquired the presidential jet. We also see how the amount of stealing going on in this government, and it's something that is amazing. So it's not from my own point of view. It's not even from Atiku's point of view. The rule of law right now, as we speak, is in shambles. We have a torment of oppression, a torment of anarchy, a torment of irresponsibility. This is a very sad one, because this is happening at a time when many Nigerians are hungry. If you go to the forest station, you see long queues all over. There's no food in the country. People are hungry. People are tired. And then a government that ought to be responsible to ensure that the economy recovers is promoting is camping on opposition. It's arresting people, although Ajaero has been released. But even the arrest in the first place ought not to have happened. Why was he arrested? Because we have a government that has become a tyrant. We have a government that is intolerant of opposition. And this is something that is very, very serious, because many Nigerians are dying, many Nigerians are out of job. And if this is not restored, if sanity is not restored, we are going to be in trouble in this country. So we are calling on everyone. We are calling on the government and all those who are very much in touch with the government to ask the government to sit up, to stop harassing the opposition. We also heard that Serap has been arrested. The Serap office was attacked. They went there and they were threatening to arrest members of Serap, the NGO, which has been in the forefront of promoting integrity in the country. So we are disturbed about what is happening in Nigeria at the moment. And if sanity is not restored, we are going to be in trouble. Don't forget that in the last 8 years, we witnessed the government of Mohamed Buhari. That government was also intolerant of opposition. That government was also irresponsible. And right now, we have a continuation of APC, and we are expressing the same thing. The Tinubu administration doesn't care about anything. Democracy ought to be government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But this democracy is not for the people. It is for the elites. Over there in Abuja, they are doing their own things. And don't forget that in democracy, we ought to have the principles of separation of power and the principles the principle of check and balances, it is not working in this government because the National Assembly, which ought to be checking and balancing the executive, they are not doing so. They are working in they have conspired with the executive to wreck this country, and this is something that is very, very
another
very
thing that I want to find out.
We are supposed to be practicing democracy, but what we are seeing is it's almost like a military rule. A military rule where you have no say, where the people cannot say anything, where oppositions are, there is a complete calm down on opposition. So this is something that is worrying. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I just want to know, right, from your perspective, do you, because I've always had this feeling that a lot of these things aren't necessarily done on the orders of Mr. President, but we seem to have a system where security agencies feel it is their responsibility to protect those in power. So President Tinubu wouldn't necessarily have to give any orders, for the Serap office to be raided or for opposition figures to be harassed in any way, shape, or form. But our security agencies just feel it is their responsibility to ensure that they protect the seat of power. So do you think that's the situation, or is President Tinubu himself meant to be held responsible for the way things have turned?
Of course, the DSS or SSS is an arm of the presidency. That's the unfortunate thing. So any action taken by the SSS or DSS or whatever they are called, the presidency knows about it. So one can say, with all sense of responsibility, that the action of this DSS and SSS also emanate from the presidency. They cannot go and, harass Serap or arrest Ajaero or harass journalists without the consent of the presidency, because DSS is controlled by the presidency. It is obvious. So their action could be associated with the action of the presidency, and that is a very sad one because it is. We have seen this operation, we have seen this harassment, we have seen this clampdown on journalists, the fourth estate of the realm, which is supposed to be respected. And in democracy, the voice of the people ought to be heard. In democracy, presidential democracy, the sovereigns are the people. Power belongs to the people. But in this government, we're not seeing power being brought to the people. We are seeing dictatorship from the top, from the presidency. So whatever actions that the SS or SS is taking emanates from the presidency. It's very, very, very unfortunate. They can't act without being authorized by the presidency. And so all these things are the presidency knows about it, and they have consented to this. Like I said, this is very worrisome. Nigerians are urged to sit up. And all the friends of the government should urge the government to stop harassing the people, to stop arresting people, to stop all this intimidation of opposition and all that. It's not going to go well. Every Nigerian is tired. If you go to the social media, you see comments of the people. Yeah. That's why I'm saying that it's not just my perspective or Atiku's perspective. It is the perspective of all Nigerians. Social media.
There's expected to be a social media response, and of course Nigerians would react to the way that these things are interpreted. But just like on the Vanguard this morning, it says here from the federal government on Joe Ajaero, nobody is above the law. And so if they truly have a case against Joe Ajaero, maybe because they suspect that he has committed some crimes that are, that he needs to answer for, shouldn't the federal government invite him?
Obviously they should invite him. We're not saying that they should not, but the manner in which they went about doing that, it happens at the time that Ajaero was about to travel out of the country to attend a Labour Party function abroad. What we are saying that the timing of this interrogation is not proper. If they have anything against him, the proper thing to do is to do your investigation and charge him to court. That's what the Constitution says, that if you suspect somebody to have committed a crime, what you do is you don't even need to invite him, not even to harass him. Is to slam a charge against him, take him to court, and display the charges. In this case, they are saying that he's sponsoring terrorism and all that. That is far-fetched. His arrest. I don't hold brief for Ajaero. I don't hold brief for NLC, but all Nigerians can see clearly that This man is a man that is asking for implementation of the minimum wage. Is asking that workers should be treated, properly. And it's not. I mean, his interrogation or arrest is not unconnected with his effort to ensure that minimum wage is paid and all that. And so these are all linked. It's not that, such a man that you are saying that is committed, terrorism, or that he finances terrorist activities. How? Okay? Now, if you think so, why not charge him to court? Okay? Charge him to court. Why all this harassment? Remember that this is not the first time. There was a time that he was beaten up. There was a time that he was, this is not proper. If you think he has committed something, charge him to court, We have this case against so that he can defend himself. And that is what the democratic government, that's what ought to happen, that if you suspect that somebody has committed a crime, charge him to court. But all this subtle harassment and this is not done yet. They say they are still going to invite him. They are not even done. What they are ought to do is to carry out their investigations, and if there's anything that the man has done, you suspect that has done, charge him to court. But all this comment, picking him here and there, invite him or not invite him, does not augur well for labor. It does not augur well. Don't forget that labor is the people, really, actually, when you talk about Ajaero, it's not just the NLC.
I'd like to ask for some clarity regarding the proper procedure for arrest, and I'm asking because of what you have just said, that if they have any matter against Ajaero, they shouldn't have just picked him the way that they picked him up at the airport. They should have taken him to court if they had any issues against him. And I'm asking this because we've seen in several other cases, for example, PDOM Nigeria, Isaac Bristol, who was arrested in his hotel room on the 5th of August, and now is being charged with leakage of government documents or classified documents, and many other charges that have been leveled against him. And the police have said they will do their investigation. Is the proper procedure to arrest and then do investigation, or to thoroughly complete your investigation before you arrest and then charge them to court? What is the proper procedure?
The proper procedure is to do your investigation. I'm a lawyer for so many years. I know very well that you don't start all this harassment. What you do is that you do your proper investigation. You don't even need to invite the person. All this invitation to SSS or whatever, it's an intimidation. They're trying to cow the labor. They're trying to cow the people. They are trying to show that you are a dictatorial government and that you are more or less above the law. What any serious government would do if you suspect that somebody has done something is to carry out your investigation and then charge him to court. Why do you have to invite him? That's the essence of investigation, is that, look, you carry out your investigation and all that. The issue of intimidation, don't forget that once somebody is invited, it's already flashed in the media, which means you have become what is called a media trial. Trial has started, They're saying that this guy is suspected and so and so. That is not proper. Do your investigation. If you have your charges already, you charge him to court. The only way that the public knows that somebody, the fellow is being suspected, is when it's charged to court. It's not start saying, look, we're inviting you, we're also going to invite you next tomorrow or whatever. No, it's not done. So the issue of hiding somebody in the media is already a trial, It's already kind of, it's already psychologically, you are abusing the person. You're also insulting the person because you are saying that, okay, fine, this is what we think that you have done. We are going to try you for that. Carry out your investigation. You can carry out the investigation, and there is need to do that. The only thing you can do is that, okay, do your investigation, the man does not travel, okay? You can slightly do that, avoiding him from traveling. But you don't have to wait until he has gone to the airport and then you have to arrest him. You don't do that because you are doing a kind of media trial. You're already trying him, telling the public this man is so and so. It's not the proper way to do it. Do your proper investigations and all that. And then when you have anything, then you have to charge him to court. And then you apply for bail. It's a bailable offense. Okay? And if it's a bailable offense, you grant him bail, and then the man continues the trial. But what happens here is that what happens in this country is kind of intimidation, a kind of, placing of muzzles that, look, we can do anything to you and all that and all that. It is not proper, okay? This man was trying to attend the function abroad, You are stopping from attending the function, you have harassed him, okay, you have released him now. Okay, what have you found out from arresting him? What have you achieved? Nothing. They are saying that they're going to call him again. No! carry out the investigation, and then if there's anything, charge it to court.
All right, kindly hold on. I would like before we go that you share your thoughts on. Yeah, kindly hold on, please. Kindly hold on, because we're, but before we go, can you quickly share your thoughts on the End Bad Governance protesters? Amnesty International has continued to call for the release of these persons who have also been charged with treason, amongst other things. Is this pretty much the same thing that you started the conversation speaking about? The approach of the President Tinubu administration towards criticism.
This is a sad one. This is a very sad one. Arresting these End Bad Governance protesters, who many of them are even minors. Why do you have to arrest them? Before this protest, the government came out to say that they have approved, they have given them permission to do the protest, carry the protest and everything. Lagos State government also came out to say that, look, you carry out the protest, except that they should do it in designated places so that they do not cause violence in town or destroy public property. And then it was on this basis that they went out protesting, okay? Now, after this protesting, you have clamped down on them, arrested them, and you have refused to charge them to court. You are detaining them against the constitution, provisions of the constitution, that you can't detain somebody for a certain number of days. You don't have the charges, you grant the person bail. Because the issue of terrorism is very far-fetched. I mean, we know that it's a trump-up charge. Why should you slam terrorism on young people who have gone out to protest, which is a constitutional right? Right of protest is a constitutional right guaranteed in our constitution. So why do you have arrested them? They're up to 1,000 who are in detention as we speak. Many of them are minors, okay? Holding them over what? Over because they came out to protest. That's why we are saying that this government has, unfortunately, sloshed into dictatorship, into harassment of opposition, especially the harassment of young people who came out to protest. And you're not trying them. You put them in detention and all that. For how many days now? Okay, you're not granting them bail. You are not releasing them, and this is something that is it's in bad taste. It doesn't go well for Nigeria. It has dragged the image of this government to the mud. Keeping these peaceful protesters, keeping them in detention, and you are the one that granted them permission to protest in the first place. After the protest, you have arrested them, or during the protest, you have arrested them, kept them in detention. You are neither granted them bail nor taking them to court, and they are in detention. And we heard that some of them are being maltreated. Why all this? What the government is trying to do, they are trying to discourage other people for protesting. If you can arrest these people, you don't grant them bail, and you don't take them to court. You are saying that other young people who might come out to protest, you are going to do the same thing to them. It is something that is wrong, and it is unacceptable. The people should be granted bail because they are bailable of offense, and they should not be charged. There should not be a trump-up charge. What is terrorism? What is treasonable felony? For people who have gone out to carry out peaceful protests, you want to slam them with terrorism and all that.
We're still following up with these stories. We're still following. There's a number of them beyond the End Bad Governance protesters. There's Freedom Nigeria, who is still remanded in prison, and there's David Hundain, who's been declared wanted. He's been declared wanted by the Nigerian police, and I'm sure that there are more layers to this conversation that we can have on another day. Sonnie Ekwowusi, thank you very much for your time with us this morning.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here.
All right, have a wonderful day. All right.